Hey guys, welcome back. So it's starting to warm up, so it's time to harden off all of our plants. So we move them outside, and they'll spend a couple days out here to try to adapt to the weather before we move them into the garden.
All right, so it's been about 7 or 8 days that everything's had time to harden up outside. We've had some casualties, mostly in our pepper category. A lot of our hot peppers just didn't make it. So we'll do the best we can, see what we can salvage from it all, but we may have to start some other stuff for some succession planting, or we may have to just pick some stuff up from the store to fill in our gaps. But we're gonna try the best we can with what we've got. Everything else we've checked off. All of our tomatoes and cucumbers did really well, so we're gonna get everything picked, or I've picked everything out, and we'll get everything into the garden today. And I got a little helper out here running around the garden while I get everything done, so you'll see her in the background. So let's get started. All right, and here's what I got decided. We are gonna do our Glacier Bush tomatoes. They took a little while to get as big as they did, but we're gonna give them a shot. They stay relatively small, only getting about 3 to 4 feet tall, so anywhere in here, but they are 2 to 3 feet tall, so they don't actually need anything. They might need to get staked, but that's it. They don't need to be trellised. Then we've got our Amish paste, which are gonna go here. We're gonna go with 2 of those along the center trellis here. We've got 3 of our Gardener's Delight, which are going to be trellised onto the arch trellis way. So we'll start the weave process with them and send them up and over and trim everything out so nothing comes in towards the garden, everything goes out. The last one all the way over here is our San Marzano. These have their own area, and they will use this as their trellis. We want everything here. These are going to grow up and come this way towards the center. These over here are going to go up and come towards the outside here. We're gonna have an avenue here where I don't want anything, so I can reach in and clear out and harvest. Same thing here, and I can come from the outside there. These we can harvest from all over, and then our Gardener's Delight will be able to harvest from the trellis itself. In this bed, we got our eggplant and our cucumbers. Our eggplants are gonna go in the corners. We're gonna run a singular cucumber along the trellis that's gonna go up. Might intermix with the tomatoes a little bit, and then we're gonna put the other 2 on the other side. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 1 pickle over here, 2 pickles over there, and then we've got 3 of each of the cucumbers. So then we've got our lemon cucumbers, which I think are going to go right here in the center trellis, and then we've got our Space Masters, which stays fairly small, so we'll use this smaller trellis on either side, and we'll run 3, 1 there, here, and here.
We got some buds and a cucumber started. This is our Space Master.
What's nice is these stay fairly compact, unlike the pickles, which will just send a runner out and get huge. We had our first round of peas that we put in. Very little came up. 2 of the probably 40 that we planted came up. So we just replanted them recently. So we have those all in. I have green beans planted all along here. So this will all get filled with green beans. So the rest of this area is going to be all sweet peppers. The 3 types that we have are California Wonders, our bananas, and our candy cane chocolate cherry peppers. So the next two beds are probably going to be the saddest ones I plant today because these are some of our peppers. And as of right now, they're not doing great. So what we're going to do, these are the jalapenos we have. Those are the jalapenos we have. We've got the two Megatrons, which are doing pretty good, and a couple of the other ones. But overall, this is a lemon drop. This is going to be the milder of the spicy beds. That's going to be the extra spicy. So we'll get that planted as well, but I don't have a lot of hope. We're going to do our best. So we'll get these situated and planted. And if it turns out that these don't do nearly as well, and we have any sort of gaps with the peppers and they're just not producing, we'll pull them right away, and then we'll buy some from the store and get those in. So if it all works out, we'll have 8 jalapeno plants and 1 lemon drop in this one. A little change of plans on what's going to go in this bed. It's going to have a lot less, but this is where the heat is. So we are going to have our scorpions, our anco chili, and our chocolate habaneros, and our fratelli. Those are the ones we're going to keep in this bed. And that's it. I'm going to make the executive decision, though we're not going to grow ghost peppers this year. One, because they just look the saddest and they just don't look like they're going to survive. I might toss them in a pot, see if they make it. But I think I got enough heat here to be able to work with this year without doing the ghost peppers. And if I really need to, I have some from last year or the year before. They're all dried out. I can always reconstitute those and use those for hot sauces. So we'll get these in now. So we're not having a great year for garlic. I planted almost 125 and I maybe have a third of that left over that's actually making it this year. So we're gonna have to try something different. This is what we'll use. Hopefully it turns out, but this portion of the bed we're actually utilize, and we're gonna get our Scotch bonnets. We're gonna throw some pepper plants over here at the edge. We don't want to get too close because we don't want to oversaturate or overwater the garlic, because if you do that, they turn to mush, and I've experienced that. So I normally don't plant or interplant with things that need constant watering, mostly because of that, of waterlogging the bulbs as they develop. But I'm going to move these as far over to the edge as I can, so hopefully when I do water these, it doesn't really interfere with the garlic growth at all. Now the rain's just starting to come down. The kids are inside, so I'm going to try to get the last bit of planting in, which is a few things from seed. So I'm going to get those into the ground. I'll explain those as I'm doing it. But all of the things I started from seed inside are all in the garden. Everything is set. Everything is planted. The only reason I would switch anything out is if it didn't make it, and I would switch it out with something probably similar or the same for that store-bought. This bed is going to be almost solely for greens, but right along here, I planted some okra. And then on the far end in the corners, I planted a couple delicata squash to see if we can have that spill over the edge. Now, originally this bed, we had set up for carrots and onions. I do have the peas over here, and I do have the green beans over here right now. And I do have some carrots up. I have a few carrots that look like they might be coming up. I have danners over here and nebulas here, and it looks like they're just starting to peek out here. But our onions over here are almost non-existent. So of the onions, I probably planted about 100, and there's about 4. So we're going to replant this area. And I've got our Zabroon shallots and a new variety of flat of Italian red onion. So there are 2 beds left to finish up. We have our greens, which I've started everything inside, so we're waiting for all of that to finish maturing, and then we'll start moving that out probably within the next 2 weeks or so, and we'll have all of our greens planted. And then the last one is our very front bed that we always use for growing our annuals. That is our kind of our showpiece. As soon as you walk into the garden, this is the first thing you see. Now those are the last beds that we have to plant, but that's not it for planting in the garden. We still have all of our pots that we plant every year. We also have two brand new birdie beds that are coming in. Those are going to be 15 inches tall and about 2 feet squares, 2 feet by 2 feet. Those are probably going to go over into the corners where they get a lot of sun, and we have to determine whether or not we're going to get a different type of berry bush or if we're going to get some more blueberries since those died where the tomatoes are. So we have some decisions coming up. We have some new exciting things happening in the garden, new things that we're going to try planting, and try to wrap this up and get everything clean before the rain starts. I can feel it starting to sprinkle now. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.